Okay, so here is the RIGI Duo. This is the non-powered or the hand-powered one, and the box looks great. I believe the copyright on the side of the box said it was from 1994. It is a pretty good sized box. You can kind of see in reference with my hands. You have a beautiful picture on the front of it. Some side instructions in German, I believe. And again, I think it says 1994 is the copyright on it. Made in Germany. Let's see the other side. Again, kind of gives you a little look at what the bottom would be of the car. And opening it up one-handed isn't the easiest thing. Let me pause it. Alright, so here we go. So inside, again, this was used. This came from a buy-sell trade that I got. We've got the kind of instructions that go with it. A little like ticket, like clipper or whatever to punch the tickets. Little book of tickets. I think this little cardboard thing that was next to it just kind of kept it from falling out. You got some people that are going to go up on the ski lift, go and take some pictures, or go hiking, skiing, or whatever. Then the individual cars. Made out of plastic, but really well made. You have a little access panel at the top, even a little ladder that's inside it that can drop down and into place, or it can just be held in place up on the roof, and also a little trapdoor underneath. You have the cable, the individual cables that are attached to it. I'm not certain if they have this hooked up the right way, so I may have to go back and undo that and rehook it back up. Then you have the base of the piece here with it kind of tangled up in this mess of cable. Pretty simple. You'd have this on the bottom of the overall thing with a little crank here, and you just kind of move the cable around. I believe it fed through these two pieces here. I've seen some of these where they've got them housed in like a kind of a building going around it, which would add a little bit more to it. And I don't know if this set originally had that with it. I don't see that here, so I'm not going to worry about it. But it's something I might try to either make myself out of wood or try to, make from, or see if I can find one online. And then the last part that you have is the top part. And even some of these, I've seen some hobbyists kind of incorporate into a building that would receive the cable car as it would come up. Now, according to LGB, in their instructions, all you have to do, this thing is ready to go. All you have to do is take it, and they've got, kind of a pretty instruction book here and kind of showing the history of these kind of cable cars and stuff. Kind of shows you how to hook up the cabling to it. And this top part here, they said, you can hook it up to a tree branch, you can hook it up to maybe a hook or something, or you could hook it up to a doorknob, wherever you want to. This guy is apparently playing with a friend that's across the way or whatever, or this kid's by himself playing with a doorknob, I don't know. So, this kid looks like he's in deep thought as he's maneuvering this thing. This is I guess it's talking about the electric version, which is a battery-powered one. Different base, the bottom part, and someday I'd like to get a hold of one of those if I'm able to. And then some other stuff. I don't speak German or any other of these languages, so I'd have to try to find out what this is. I'm thinking this is just if you want to label it a certain name for a station name or something. But again, it kind of shows you, and the one we have is the Duo, so it's got, the two that are able to go at the same time. While one goes up, one goes down. Here's that house that I was talking about. I'd like to get a hold of one of those. They just have the bottom base part of it kind of at the very back of it. Probably a couple holes inside the thing, and then the car is able to kind of go in and out. so you kind of get an idea of what it looks like, and just, I mean, it's something to add to the layout. So we're going to go ahead and try to set the thing up. I'm going to first try it here where I've got a little bit more light on my first floor, and maybe hook it up to a high point, and then, you know, kind of go down to the ground or something. And then I'll try to hook it up on the layout, maybe do that with you. I've never done one of these before, so this is kind of a learning experience for me. But here we go. Okay, so I just started to set this one up. I've got it hooked up on a little coat hook I've got on the wall over there. Cars are right there, base down here. And by all means, I've got a lot of slack on it right now. Whenever you would do this, you would want to take this, and there's little holes that are on the base there, so you can try to get this suspended. Now, I just basically took what the seller had already hooked up and just kind of went with it, just to see, since they already had it kind of tied up, to see how they did it, and I was able to use that. The one thing I did notice that I think I'm going to change, if you notice how the cars are right there, I put them side by side, and if you notice kind of the arm that holds on to the cable kind of sits on one side of it. And what I think I may end up doing is taking the car on the left and reversing it. Because what I noticed is that when I turn the crank and these things are going up and down, you know, one's going up, one's coming down, they tend to crash into each other. So I'll see if I can kind of show that in just a moment. Okay, so I've got them kind of spread apart. They're going to come back down, and as they would come back down, they have a tendency of bumping into each other. Now, I don't know how fast you would want to have these going up and down, or when they're motorized, how fast they would do, but I'm just thinking if I could take that car on the left and maybe reverse it, that might keep it from crashing into it. And then I also saw that the doors that are on them, I think ideally if I had kind of a platform that or a building that they would go into and exit out of, probably inside that building they would have had kind of a middle, I guess, walkway that would have been able to accept both sides. So kind of I think the doors to the actual pieces need to be toward each other. At least that's my thought here. There's maybe other ways of being able to you know, put a little spacer in between the two and keep them from crashing into each other, but to me that's just a little too close, and I think each time that I go up and down they're going to bang into each other. So, little pointer. Okay, so I went and reversed one of the cars. Actually, in the last part of the video I told you the one on the left needed to be changed. It was actually the one on the right. I tried the one on the left, and when I did that, both of the arms were facing outward, and it made them actually a little too close to each other. Kind of made both of them be that way. So now I've got them both kind of inward. They're pretty close to each other, but overall it actually doesn't hit. So, well, except right there. But I've tested it out a couple of times and it seemed like it worked pretty well. I think once I get the right amount of slack that I need for it and have it set up on the layout, it'll probably be a little bit better. So now to take you down to the layout. Alright, welcome down to my layout. This is my O and S layout. I've got a kind of ring going around here of the G, a little starter set right there. It kind of goes in and around different rooms and stuff, kind of down around here as well, kind of part of my unfinished basement. Anyway, some things I've been noting. I originally came down here and I tried to do a hookup of this, and I was going to run it from like up here down. And one of the things I noticed is that I was hitting a lot of my accessories. I've got some Miller Engineering signs, and I've got some other taller accessories, and I really didn't feel like going through and rewiring and repositioning everything. I wanted to make this part of the layout, but not have to completely redo the layout to incorporate it. So the other thing I've got going on with my layout is that I've got a lot of like buttons and controls to the accessories out here. It's meant for like the kids to be able to come up there and press the buttons and work the different accessories. And so I kind of think maybe I need to have it go from up there, maybe toward the American flag, and have it come down here. And maybe that might be a little bit better. or a little more consistent to the rest of the controllers that are here. So I may have to build up a little like station platform or something here to have the base put on there and then hoist it up over there. As I'm working with these, one of the things I also noted was that I was bumping into a lot of my stuff. And so what I may end up doing, just until I get it working, is there's a little Phillips screw up here holding this part to the little arm that's here. I may undo that temporarily just so I can work with it and not have everything bumping into the accessories as I hook it up. Little pointer. I'm going to go ahead and try to find a place that I can hook it up on the top there. Just hooking up the base like I did on that hook upstairs with the coat hook. And then I'll try to have some kind of base down here for it and then get it all hooked up and show you what it looks like as kind of a finished product. Well, right now it's a work in progress. I actually got a little platform built for it. The base right there, the car set up, going all the way up to that area way over there. The one little part that I have to kind of concern myself is I've got my O-gauge trains that are just tall enough that when this thing comes all the way down, just the weight of it, I either need to work on the slack that's involved with this, but I don't want to have a collision here, so I have to kind of be careful with that. Anyway though, it wasn't very hard to put up. The cars and everything were much easier to work with when I took them actually off of this using the little screw that was right there. But other than that, it works really well, kind of going up and down. They don't collide with each other. Pretty simple. But again, just making sure I don't have that collision that happens like right there. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, please.